Alright, let's see if we can get today started on a good foot. Alright, I'm trying to quickly realize. Alright. Let me get a prediction. This is an OFCRA match. Blue 4 is going to be Sweden, and Op 4 is going to be the UK. We'll get that up, and we'll see how things play out. Having a bit of a drink. So, Swedish forces are going to be spawning in two separate locations here. We've got an airbase, and we also have a naval base over here. And then the British, we got three different spawn points. One is, this appears to be some sort of bridge, perhaps. And then we have a little naval landing area here, and then a naval base there. So this will be a water PvP scene around this fjord. We have one marked objective over here. We have another red zone marked here. And then we have an HQ position marked by the Swedish HQ. Let me go ahead and check for you guys what these objectives are going to be. The Lakeside Fortress, which is the common objective for both groups, is going to be worth 1 point. That is for whoever can hold it by the end of the game. There's a CV-90 at a harbor, which I assume is right here. That is worth 1 point. Has to be destroyed within 45 minutes. And then there is a helicopter that needs to be destroyed within the 60-minute mark. That is also worth a point. So Blue 4 gets points for defending them by the time the timers expire, and then Op 4 gains points for destroying them. So basically, you get 2 out of 3 objectives you win based off of those point values. I'm going to add to the title there. Alright, now we just wait and see. We've got, let me go ahead and check the map. 98 players on today, so we'll probably crawl up to triple digits. But I agree, there's going to be a lot of suppressive fire and GPMGs if both sides are utilizing boats. We'll see if either side else get any vehicles. The British on Op 4 might get a helicopter to Blue 4. They might get some sort of defensive equipment to fight that, but otherwise probably some GPMGs on vehicles or whatnot. With the spawn points here, we can definitely see Blue 4 as the Swedish set up a nice defensive grid around the waterways here to prevent the British from flanking around. I mean, we can also see these bridges potentially utilized as crossing points. I mean, we do have a force right here. They could have some ground vehicles to move in on that side. Swedish are definitely going to be setting up blocking positions somewhere along these bridges. Probably not driving all the way out unless they use these forces to block, but what I'm predicting we're going to see is a force in here, a force over here, some sort of force right here to defend the waterway there, and then maybe some sort of security force back here, depending on if the British have air forces or not. If there is no air force on the British side, I think we're going to see the Swedish guys go all in on just choke point defense. If there is a helicopter, then we're probably going to see a more balanced approach of Blue 4 putting more forces up here to defend, and then, yeah, like a third on choke point duty. I'd say leaning closer to 2/3 on choke point duty, and then, how would I say that? Less than a third to defend the objective, and then leaning towards 2/3 on that, you know, proportionally. But we're just going to have to see the assets at that point. We can make every guess that we want, but the mission has to start, and we got to see where the chips fall, where the players are, and how they divide amongst everything. Let me go ahead and make sure my TFART plugin is on. I know I had to turn that off earlier. Cool, we're good. So, today's going to be a bit interesting, because right after this stream ends, there is something that is being done in another community tied to POG that I'm going to be slipping in for a bit. I think Valkyrie is going to be joining me on that. We're going to be doing that for about an hour to 2. Then I'm going to be taking a small hiatus to work on some stuff, and then we'll be back for POG tonight. And then I will continue to work on mission dev. This weekend, on Saturday, we will finally be debuting that Alligator Alcatraz op. It's a few months late, but we finally got it in place. And then Sunday will be a Rhodesian side mission, believe it or not. And then we go right back on schedule on Monday and Wednesday for our other stuff. I have no idea how the British are going to play this one. They have to know that if they just go up the road, they're going to be in choke point hell. So we're probably going to see a lot of British Op 4 elements going in boats and deploying wherever, but we'll just have to see how things go. Then I've got a few people messaging me that are part of the Rhodesian campaign about potentially changing things, but I'm staying firm on a few things because of the balance there. But I think the next weekend mission will be interesting. Can I give you details about the Sunday op? It is going to be a rescue mission. So, for those of you that aren't aware of the happenings of the Rhodesian campaign, it's 1965, I think. The British have refused to recognize South Rhodesian rule, and now embargoes are starting to fall in place, so half of the black market has been grayed out. Sunday will free up one of the the grayed out merchants because you're going to be rescuing him because he just got captured, haha. And that'll also enable the auction house when the company is net positive again for cash flow. The hostile faction is going to be a mix of the guys you've been fighting with their current upgrades because, you know, generic African militia. And then some more soldier-like guys that are using some weapons from a shipment that they captured from the one benefactor that you are rescuing. So the plot of it is you jumped out of a plane while the Rhodesians were flying something else out to do something else, and you are going to have to find a way to rescue him and then get back to Rhodesia. All right, let's go ahead and cover this scenario here. So, for Blue 4, we've got multiple transport Hemmets. It is the Swedish, so we've got... I actually don't know the name of their assault rifle on the top of my head, but they got RCO scopes with them. It's definitely some sort of 5.56 rifle. And then we also see some GPMGs in play as well, but those aren't magnified optics. Interesting. No need for DMRs if everyone has an RCO scope, but that is the spawn point for Blue 4 here. I don't see anything else. It's just trucks. Wow. The helicopter that needs to be defended is over here, tucked away, so that is worth 1 point if it's defended or destroyed by the 60-minute mark. The naval base appears to be some sort of castle with a nice set of perimeter walls, and then a lot of room for naval landings. Okay, interesting enough. We also have some barracks buildings on the interior, and then this one building where you can access the two sides, but not the second story. Then some other generic stuff. Neat. And then the final objective is that CV-90, which I believe is an APC and or IFV. Here it is. Yeah, so it's one of their IFVs. And it's tucked away right here, which is in a pretty nasty RPG range. So they're going to have to fan out to hold the borders. But naval forces can always land on the opposite side and climb up via the ladders. They've even added a ladder back here. I don't see any ladders on the front, though, so those are the two they have to rely on. Blue 4's other spawn point is all the way over here. And it is in the form of police cars. Oh, so they are... it's a police force with them, too. Same weaponry. Those could be AK-5s. Yeah, you're not wrong.
That was the 60s day, by the way.
And then we also see Mossberg shotguns. That's beautiful.
Anybody that's trying to loot stuff from this ammunition crate, go to the orange box over there and get a backpack. If you don't have a backpack, there are backpacks in that orange.
So they're trying to organize here. All right, let's look at what the British have. The British... Okay. Not what I was expecting the British fleet to contain today, but I guess, you know, it is what it is. So they've got dive teams, they have a duck team, and they also have a nuclear submarine. Weaponry are going to be suppressed M4s.
Wniosek formalny, żebyśmy wszyscy dołączyli do drużyny adresem, żeby było tak widać.
Look more like Car 15s actually, but with ACOGs as well. Neat. Alright, so we've got a submarine force. We also have a naval force, so this is their main ground infantry. It looks to be more M4-based platforms with RCOs. We have a little wooden boat, but then they also have a bunch of GPMG boats for transport. All right, so a lot of suppressive machine guns there, and then our final element is tucked all the way over here. It is additional GPMG boats. So no ground transport for the British on Op 4. It is literally just all boat utilization. And that looks like part of a bridge that they're trying to construct right here. Neat. Ah, so these are power lines. Okay, so the duck is threatening the power lines Godzilla style. Got it. So now we just need to see if these guys will take the boats and land them wherever. We also have the submarines that can immediately get into the harbor and stay low right here. I'm not sure if the water is deep enough for... Yeah, I think if the Swedish set up forces along this bridge, they could actually watch if any SDV forces come on that side. You could also see the SDVs deploy over here and drop off those British commandos. That's a bit of a walk, but that could work, and then they could also go straight to the harbor and try to board the boat from that side, or land all the way back here. Bit of a wall to scale, but they can just hug the border of the map and then get to the objectives over here. Is the duck armed? You know, that's a really good question. What do you think is armed? The nuclear submarine or the duck? Clearly the duck is armed with a Mark II particle laser in the apex of its mouth. Unfortunately, it's been turned so it only faces south. So as long as, well, no, okay, southwest. So as long as Blue 4 doesn't come in from the southwest, I think they're going to be safe from Duckzilla here, okay? But it's absolutely quackers that Op 4 have been given such a powerful asset to use. God, my jokes are bad. Anyway. A duck with laser eyes would be a fun paper pain boss. I could have sworn we gave something laser vision in a paper pain. I just can't remember which one, but I remember we did somewhere. Regardless, this is going to be a bit of a slow start because you're going to see Op 4 utilizing their naval assets to start breaching. Blue 4, I mean, this is pretty simple. Just send a team over here to defend the boat. I would literally just play objective security. Did we do it to Hue Neutron? That rings a bell. A giant floating Hue Neutron with laser vision. And it broke the server the first time we tried to use it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Ay, ay, ay. I could see, so this is QRF, they're going to have to utilize these bridges to get over here. They're definitely going to leave a group right here to watch for anything, but then that can be pulled back to do any flanking actions, and then the rest I think is just going to be site security. I don't see Blue 4 doing patrols on the waterways. They could, but that's not going to be the most effective use of their time. I think literally if they're worried about Op 4 landing to the north, they can literally just hold them here. They can hold them on that bridge right there and also watch for SDVs on that side. But when you're commanding an AO like this and all three are worth the same amount of points, just group them up. It's a 45-minute objective, a 60-minute, and then a 90-minute. So if you want to be conservative with it, put most of your forces on defense here and then leave a third of it to go fan out and try to engage the enemy and, you know, dish out attrition. If you want to be aggressive, leave skeleton crews on the objectives, except for this border one here, and then just aggressively patrol the coastline and then immediately react to contact. OFCRA does struggle on communications with groups in the mid-game and beyond, though, so I think a more defensive approach would be best for these guys. Plus, they get transport vehicles, so that shouldn't be too hard. This PvP scenario is just an elaborate game of cat and mouse. The question is, which side's going to be able to follow through with it? Who's the cat? It should technically be Blue 4, but if you've seen an OFCRA match, you know that everything can turn on its head in the blink of a damn eye, so anything's possible. The only way Red 4 can destroy the vehicles if they use satchel charges, fair. I mean, I didn't see any AT on Op 4 or Blue 4, so if there's no AT, then yeah, they can't engage the CR90 at range. They have to take control of the boat. But if Blue 4 picks a really dumb defensive plan, then, I mean, it's going to be GG already. Yes, Ian, that's based off of the poll I put out, and we did get the check marks, so I made a note in the announcement channel for those ops. And you'll see the announcement tomorrow. The announcement tonight will be for a Saturday op, because we're doing Gator, Guantanamo, Alligator, Alcatraz, whatever the hell we want to call it. Now, I have to obfuscate it so, you know, people don't get pissed off with me, so we're going to make it with anime girls, but, you know. It is what it is. Alright, so we've got 3 SDVs going north, we got 1 heading south, so they're going to divide and conquer here. SDVs can also use their not the gyroscopes, the, oh my god, periscope, that's the term I'm looking for. They could scout landing zones for the boats, but, I mean, look at... okay, 2 minutes and the boats go about 1.5 kilometers. That's actually not that bad. Still gonna take them like 10 minutes to get into some positions here, but yeah, could work out. Meanwhile, we have some speed demons here. Immediately getting to the bridge, the rest of them driving. If one of them in a convoy, though, screws up and breaks, that's gonna get the rest of this convoy killed. So they gotta watch their speed here. They're honking at each other. I'm just waiting to see if they armor themselves. That was a smooth turn, though. Good drift. I'd argue this is too close for comfort, but hey, if they make it work, then it's just... One just threw a 9-bane. I see. Well, I don't see anything on fire back there, but... These chuckleheads. All right, here's the rough turn. I can never tell where the PvP is, if it's really against the other side or if you're also trying to grief each other at this rate. All right, so we've had one truck come up here. I think it's clear where these SVDs want to go. This southern one is still a mystery, but it's probably going for that objective. We have one Hemet that has come on the southern side here. Looks like these guys are going to move past the bridge. They're potentially going to reinforce the boat. Which is why we have these guys holding this other objective over here. Maybe we'll see one break off and also go for the final zone. But that's what Blue 4 is going to be doing. So they're going to be holding the 60-minute and the 45-minute objective. Because if they can get those two, then the rest of the match doesn't matter. So that's where they've decided to set up their forces. And that is a bit of a trap for Op 4. Because if Op 4 goes to the final objective and finds it unguarded, they're inclined to then guard it till the end. Which then takes more forces out of the other two objectives. But if Blue 4 can win those, then they've already won the match. So pretty good plan by Blue 4 so far. Op 4 is still going to have quite a bit of setup time to work with, but we see that the boats have all kind of caught up with each other. We have this massive convoy of watercraft coming in. So we might see these SDVs try to, scout a landing zone. We could see it potentially right here. Since we have the SDVs already right there, they can basically look at this coastline, see if there's anything, say it's good, and then we can just have that entire force start marching over and getting to the harbor here, and then this SDV group is going to be there to harass until that force can come in. They're shooting at each other now. That's cute. Who knows? I mean, people that play Arma 3 have to be a little special, don't you think? I'm a little curious why they're intentionally surfacing. I think they're bait. I think they are literally trying to bait Blue4 into thinking that there's a force larger than that SDV and it's just up there to scout. Because why would you be on the surface right there? If anything, I wouldn't make it that obvious. I would go right under the surface and then put my periscope up instead. Because why would you be on the surface? What are the betting odds, by the way? Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen some pretty funny things in OFCRA. Like, yeah, that's perfect if you want to pull 67k to Blue 4, 20k to Op 4. Yeah, that's fair. Blue 4 doing a really good strategy. I think the only way Op 4 can beat a strategy like this is if they somehow bring everything around and go for these rear 2 objectives. I think that's the main way Op 4 wins this one, is they bypass the first one, they deploy everything somewhere else, and then they just focus on the rear 2. Because they're closer together, it gives Op 4 more time with the extra 15 minutes of the 45-minute one here compared to the 60-minute. And then you can just grab the 60-minute one, then hold the 90-minute one. You end up playing defense, you flip the Op on its head, and then you're good to go. That requires a naval landing up here with the SDVs getting through the river over here. And then as that force lands and walks around, the SDV force takes out the helicopter and then holds the final zone. You don't even worry about this objective. Maybe if you want to be cheeky, you send 1 or 2 boats to keep the guys pinned here to make them think there's an attack going on. And then you just take the remaining 85% of your force and hit the other 2 objectives as you play out that feint. But it looks like Op 4 is going for a plan like that to hit the rear 2 objectives, whereas Blue 4 is defending the first 2. So whoever takes control of this helicopter is going to win this game. And Blue 4, they've left a pretty nasty gap along their rear because they genuinely do not think Op 4 is going to have the time to flank everything around. But if everything's slow on this position, I think that's going to tip Blue 4 enough to then set up a defensive line and just hunker down that helicopter. Hey, Nemesis, how you doing? That's my prediction here. Now we're 8 minutes in. We still have 22 minutes of early game. We see 1 boat is going ahead to basically do reconnaissance. And the SDVs are just kind of watching that bit of coastline there. We have another one coming over here. So, as I said, it's going to take a lot for transport time. Now we just wait and see. Oh, man. I find it curious that OFCRA actually has set up a staging area back here, and they are trying to land forces up on the coast to make sure things are secure before they bring their main force in. What worries me is how much extra time this is going to take. Because we technically have a 68-minute timer. Because if Op 4 can't get their hands on that helicopter by those 68 minutes, it's GG. And I will admit today, because I have something else, potentially in like 45 minutes to an hour, once we hit GG on one side or the other, I'm going to be outie because we have something else to immediately get to. So I'm not looking for the kills today. I'm simply looking for the PvP setup. Yeah, I'm going to go drop into Dreams Antistasi for a bit just to check it out. Because we're Polish fighting Nazi zombies, right? In World War II. That sounds pretty dope. So we got one guy that has dismounted the boat. He's sending up a drone. Okay. That means he's going to be able to do a quick thermal scan of everything. They definitely want to see if this is being watched. That's why you have these two guys down here. Because if... Think about it. If this force blows through, all of these guys are going to have to run over to the coast. That would have made for a really nice two-pronged attack. Have some boats right here ready to come in from the other side. Pull this force away when those boats blow by. And you can do a pincer on those objectives. That would be nuts. Same here, Angel. I'm probably just going to run logistics with Valk, but it'll be fun. Oh, my only fear with this is, again, Op4 might take too much time.
Yann, tu m'entends?
So we see Squell have a drone. I wonder if he has a drone. I don't see one in his vision. So Blue 4 don't have drones. Op 4 get them for scouting, though. I do like that decision. I find it crazy that Blue 4 has their command team watching that side, though. Then Op 4 just driving the SDV around, I guess just to see if they could make it in here. Looks like Sonic fell off the roof. And so is Delano? Oh, God. Oh, God, the building is aggressive. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. He just... Okay, he's dead. Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
He's back, but he's in the building now. Okay,
I don't know, I think the admin fixed me. Oh, yeah, admin must have seen that and fixed me.
Alright, so the buildings are anti-Swedish. Wasn't expecting that one. It's a mimic, yeah. Huh. So the presence of mimics in this op, I think, goes a little against the defenders more than the attackers, because the mimics are going to just eat random people. We see... Okay, no, those are rust stains. Okay, I thought that was blood, because I was about to say, okay, the boat's even eating people. Or it's a warehouse. Oh, you might be right. Because mimics are smaller, but if it's a warehouse, then again, the moon isn't out, though. So I think it's just a giant mimic rather than a warehouse. Because if it was nighttime, I'd be more inclined to believe... Oh, okay. Nope, it's mimics, guys. The mimic has struck again. This time it has taken a balcony on the ship here. And it started eating Albin. No, I think it's a mimic outbreak. I don't think warehouses are don't get me wrong, they exist in the daytime, but I don't think they feed in the daytime. They only feed at night. You know? We need Freerun? No, you don't. Freerun just gets stuck, like, over the balcony with that ass sticking out. Like, every other time she has to deal with a damn mimic, so we don't need that. It's triangle issues? Seeker, don't be shapist in my chat, man. Come on, you know better. Don't be shapist. We accept all squares, cubes, triangles, rectangles. We accept all that here. Except those dirty rhombuses. Anyway. Dungeon Mastery to eat the mimics. That one I agree. Oh my god. Nope, the mimics are active. Now they're drowning people. Holy shit. It's been multiple casualties to mimics. I started this as a joke, but we're actually seeing some KIA here. Like, huh. I agree, this doc I don't believe is OSHA approved at all. Did he drown? I see blood. I see a gun float. Oh, he's dead. Yep, the water mimic got him. Or the warehouse. Well, I don't think it's warehouses because it's daytime. Warehouses usually don't feed in the daytime unless they're being deconstructed, but I haven't seen Blue 4 handle any deconstruction equipment around here. All right, Op 4 is landing the SDV crews. We still have the boats holding position here. I mean, all right, Albin wakes back up. I don't know how much blood he lost. I can't tell in the ocean. Oh, I saw, there's a little splatter right there. Okay, but so far the Mimics have at least killed two guys. They've killed 2 people, and they've wounded a 3rd. And I just heard an explosion. So I think Blue 4 is now attempting to fight the Mimics. I thought these were tracer rounds, but they're not. So they're not engaging Op 4. They're literally just fighting Mimics. Okay. So Marty is dead from that Mimic. All right. The other guy. Damn. Nubass is watching the coastline. He's scared of water Mimics. Look, if I knew the Mimics were going to be fighting both sides, I would have added them in the poll, okay? But they didn't have it on the sheet. So, unfortunately, we don't have a side for the Mimics here. When you don't pay the devs enough, they forget to properly map the collision triangles. Oh, I get that. But like I said, we accept all shapes here, Mr. Seeker.
Why are you going to cringe?
I do agree. I think the dock is a Mimic nest, so... But let me play devil's advocate here, all right? So we did have a warehouse scene. I'm claiming the warehouse is a Mimic and not a warehouse. But we do also have a warehouse over here. But if it's a warehouse outbreak instead of a Mimic outbreak, what got Albin up here? Because there's no warehouse. There's a giant hook. That could be the Mimic. Or it's the... you know, part of the bridge here. That's also the Mimic. But there's no warehouse up there. So... I don't know. Like, again, it kind of throws the warehouse theory out the window because warehouses and Mimics are very territorial against each other. You don't really have Mimics and warehouses working together unless you count that one incident that the SCP Foundation dealt with and redacted back in, what was it, 06? I think it was 06. I forget the designation for it, but, you know, just boot up a Vulcan video. Bodie McBoatface was hungry. I don't think this is Bodie McBoatface, though. And here's the thing. If this was, let's say for the sake of argument, it was Bodie McBoatface, that would scare the warehouses into not feeding. It's a Ditto? No, Dittos don't get this big. If Dittos got this big, there would be way too much of one certain type of imagery drawn on Pokemon Rule 34, and I would not be able to tolerate it. So let's not even go down that method, all right? Let's not see that path. It's clearly a Mimic. There's a 001 on the side. Okay. See, I know a bit about the Swedish Navy. I know they don't have a lot of ships. I literally think this is just the one ship they have. Okay? All right, I'm going to be honest with you. This is just the one ship they have. That's why it's 001. I agree with you. That would be a big-ass Mimic, though, if it was the entire ship. I was thinking it was just something, like, tied to the ship, but no, you're right. It could be the entire ship. No, that's a good observation. I'm not going to lie. No, that... Huh. What were OFCRA devs thinking putting an objective in a Mimic that can kill people? That's nuts. Because this was all planned from the beginning, so it's like, what... Huh. It's weird. Now, I haven't seen any other casualties in this harbor, but you do see Blue 4 is trying to fight some of the Mimics down here. But these guys haven't taken any casualties compared to the one KIA over here, the one back there, and the one on the boat itself. So, this team knows what they're fighting. So you got to give them credit for that. Meanwhile, Op 4 is doing the entire naval landing. We're at the 28-minute mark, so we are 20 minutes into the mission. And we have an SDV potentially coming in, and Blue 4 Command is still chilling right there. This is going to be a long walk. They might be able to get away with it, though. But I think the action right now is with the Mimics. So here's my question, though. If we have 3 confirmed Mimics, 1 here, here, and then 1 back there, how many more Mimics do you think are in this area per capita? And if the Mimics have already gotten big enough to turn into ships, what does that mean? Does that, like, what? Oh, no. That's why. They're British Mimics. Because the British had the duck. It was right in front of us the entire time. It's not a PvE phenomenon. The British have Mimics. And they've already deployed them in the operation before the AO kicked off. I think Op4 Command was able to select certain buildings to be Mimics. Let's think about this real quick. Let's think about this. The building right next to the objective, and then the ship itself that has the objective. I mean, obvious placement for Mimics. And then you want to take all the buildings that are overwatching over here, or, you know, overwatching this group's ability to come in. I think Op4 was able to select what buildings became Mimics before the scenario. That's what makes the most sense here. Alright. I mean, it's caused 3 freaking casualties, 2 KIA so far. It's... Damn. You joined late, what's a Mimic? A Mimic is a being or entity that can mimic things, hence the name, and then they kill you. So, down here, there's a drowned body. It's probably, like, deep in the ether now, and the blood's probably despawned, but people will tell you there's a dead person down here. The fish probably ate him. We have another dead guy over here because he got clipped into the building. We had a third guy get knocked out, but he woke back up. And then we had a 4th guy. So it's actually been happening to 4 separate people. 2 KIA, 2 casualty, where he got knocked out right here. So the ship is a Mimic. This building's a Mimic. And I think that other guy slipped off of this building right here, so it's also a Mimic. So what we've contested is Op4 for this PvP mission were able to deploy Mimics into the AO before it actually started. Because Op4 had this thing. And let's be honest, this thing is clearly a Mimic, alright? You can tell from the obvious fact that rubber ducks are not made this big. Okay? I'm sorry to say, but this is clearly a Mimic that didn't realize that rubber ducks are supposed to be small. So this is clearly something meant to kill people. So that is the hint that Op4 deployed Mimics here. Yep, you got it? Good. Meanwhile, Blue 4 Command is watching Op4's main infantry starting to come in, potentially bypassing this objective. Whoa. Holy shit. Another Mimic. Op4 spaced the Mimics out. They also took some of the rocks that Blue 4 would have used as cover, and they killed him. He's dead. He's dead. He left. He's gone. They got him. That is 3 KIA now, and I don't know where the other guy went. I'm assuming he escaped because I don't see a body, but that's 3 KIA to Mimic now. This is unprecedented. In my 10 years of doing Arma 3, I've never seen this many deaths to Mimics. What terrain? It's Medland. Mehland. Wish I was joking. Alright, Blue 4's clearly sounding the alarm. I think they know something is up, because you normally do not see this many people die to Mimics. You can see, though. So I think okay, they're spamming the damn siren. But you can... They've tried. We have some medical over here, too. So they've been fighting Mimics here. And you can see where one guy got wounded by them. You see another wound over here. So I guess they're sounding the alarm because they know something's up. And you can see more wounds up here. Hold on. So people are taking a lot of damage to these Mimics. A lot more than I thought. That's another 2 instances of Mimics wounding people. That's like, what, 4 or 5 wounded and 3 KIA? And a shot has not been fired yet. Also, SDVs are breaking through. I'm not sure if these guys... I think they had to have seen that. So Blue 4 already down quite a few people. I didn't realize that the British had an army of mimics to deploy at a moment's notice. Definitely not where I thought this operation was going to go, but here we are. They are, because sometimes the mimic just outright kills them. It's nuts. So I think Blue 4 know that there is some Op 4 coming based off of what the command team over here has told them, so they're trying to redeploy, and it gets them away from the mimics too, which is really important. You also see that Blue 4 are camping this entry point. But yeah, no, if that's an autocannon, I think Op 4 is just going to completely bypass and head to the other two objectives because each one's only worth a point, and there's 3 objectives total. See, if I was Blue 4 and I was redeploying my forces, I probably wouldn't have the Siren on because that's going to give me away. Yeah, I mean, we saw a guy in the CR90, so I'm assuming they're allowed in it. Even these guys are looking at him like, what the hell?
Stop being naughty.
CV90, you're right, not a CR90. My bad. But we still have a long walk. Based on the time, again, when it hits the 68-minute mark, that's when that second objective cashes in. The 53-minute mark will cash this one in. 68 will cash that. So they've got about 30 minutes. I think they could do this in 30 minutes. Again, just bypassing a big chunk of Blue 4's infantry, hitting the helicopter objective back here, and then pulling over to that side and then taking it. I don't know why he has the tow rope out. We'll see if the numbers get skewed because of those mimic... Oh my god, no way. Another mimic death. This one's new. That is the 4th KIA to mimics. So there's one body in here, there's one body there, there's one body over here, and then there's a body in a rock over there. And that's the ones we know of. There could have been more that I missed because we already saw, like, medical in a few other places. Again, it's not a warehouse, it's a mimic. Warehouses are different. Warehouses only eat people at night. They're usually not active during the day unless extreme circumstances are going on, but, like, nothing extreme's going on. So... damn. I doubt it's hybrid. You gotta remember, we're in Sweden, not America, okay? In America, that's when the weird shit happens, because that's where, you know, the SCP Foundation is usually based the most. And, you know, craziness attracts craziness. So, you gotta keep that in mind. I don't think we're gonna see anything too crazy. However, I think the amount of mimic deaths we've seen in the past 29 minutes alone has been pretty nuts. So we gotta keep our eyes on, see if there's any more KIA out of that, because, whew. But Blue 4, they're redoubling down distribution of defensive forces on the objective itself, because they know Op 4 might be trying to bypass. I'm gonna be honest, this force should then try to pursue and box in that force, because they have enough defenders here. And you gotta also consider the mimics, even though I think they're on Op 4's side, once they've tasted blood, I mean, they could go for anybody at that point, you know? Like, why stop at one when you can eat multiple? I mean, so we have the 4 KIA. One of the attacks also wounded another guy. There was the bandaging over here, so 5. We saw more bandaging up here, 6. One of them was also getting a 7th guy. So, I mean, there's been like 8 different people have been affected by the mimic attacks. It's been 6 separate attacks. 2 of the mimic attacks got 2 people at once, and 4 people are KIA because of it. I mean, again, this is unprecedented. Now, don't get me wrong. We know what the quote-unquote ARMA is. You know, someone, you know, accidentally glitches on a texture, knocks themselves out, or even kills them. You know, happens 1 or 2 times a mission. But we're talking 8 times. 8 times in 30 minutes. With only about 100 or 10 people on the server. That means there is about an 8% chance of if you played on this mission, you would suffer from a mimic attack. Now, it's only been a blue 4 so far, so we divide that in half. That means if you were blue 4, you had about a 16% chance to be attacked by a mimic in this mission. That is statistically high. I'm just saying. That's nuts. Unironically, I might have to do an SCP op to go capture mimics now. Like, I'm gonna have to add that to my docket. Seeker, you wanna... Can I pitch you an operation? Already an op suggestion.
Okay.
If we do run it as an op, I swear I will put Freerin in there somewhere. You know the pose I'm gonna pick.
Is that more extra?
We're fighting mimics, damn it. Oh my god, Gate got a season 2. So I guess that means we have to do at least 1 or 2 more Gate ops. For those who don't know, Gate is the animation about the Japanese military fighting, like, medieval fantasy people. It's where we get those big villages or big towns, and then we attack them with Cobra helicopters and shit. Season 2 is a spin-off? Okay. Are we still gonna see the Japanese Defense Force slaughter people? Because that's all I need. I know, Secret, this is... Well, here's the thing. The queue of ops we have to do is much greater than the queue of ops that we have slewed or scheduled, because we have everything scheduled like 3 or 4 weeks in advance at this rate. Did we already have season 2? No, you're right. So I thought... Okay, either way, I think we're getting more, but regardless, I could be wrong. Could have sworn. But that's okay.
Would you rather get kicked in the nuts every month, or sit through Avatar 3?
Kick to the nuts. Yeah, that's...
Avatar 3 sucks, bro. It's not good. Dude, it's like 3.5. You have to, at the same consistency, so every month you have to sit there for 4 hours. It's like 3 with the trailers. With trailers, no snacks.
With trailers, no snacks. I'm gonna be honest. I never saw Avatar 2 or 3. I just didn't have an interest. Avatar 1, I think I saw twice. Because at the time it was really, you know, pinnacle. But 2 and 3, I just didn't really have any need to continue. Now, I'm hoping when we get Arma 4... I'm in Spectator, I can't smite him, but it would be funny if I did. I'm hoping for Arma 4, someone makes a Nave mod. Because I know in Arma 3, we already had the mod that added all the helicopter... Like, the cool, like, spinny helicopters with the big rotor wings. I forget the name of them. But we had, like, big-ass gunships. We had mechs. We could totally... I have everything I need to make a Blue 4 human force. I just need the Na'vi. And then I would make you guys a mini campaign of how I would show you how I systematically eliminate the blue people. I would show you how I would become Papa Dragon. That's a thing. Go watch the first movie again. I will be Papa Dragon, and I will systematically exterminate the blue people. I will grant everyone that follows me in that operation a state-issued mandatory tall blue waifu. I will dedicate the research team into getting those blue waifus to be able to breathe air, okay? And we will systematically get all of the unobtainium we need to fund the entire operation. All I need is someone to mod in the blue people. Add enhanced melee system on it, or improved melee system. IMS. I only know it as IMS because that's, that's Web Knight's melee mod. Add a bow and arrow mod to it. Literally make it so those arrows fire as like 20mm bullets cannon rounds at that point because they're big ass arrows. Put them at a super high velocity. Give the Nave the strength and speed scripts of what they give to the Spartan 2s from the Optre mod, and I will literally put you all in mech suits, put you all in aircraft, and give you machine guns, and we will systematically eliminate the blue people.
Send in goats.
All right, we will clear out the tree, we will clear out the camps.
Let's burn home tree again.
And we will get all of the unobtainium. And as you get me more unobtainium, I will give you upgrades. I'll give you a full upgrade tree for that operation. We start with basic boy shit, and we have to mine the smaller sites. And then as we mine the smaller sites, we get access to the bigger stuff, like bigger gear, the better gear, and then we access the bigger sites, and we just sweep. We will pillage that planet. Absolutely. I just need the mod. So we're either getting it in Arma 4 or we're getting it in Arma 3. But before I die, we will systematically eliminate the blue people. Jake Sully is a traitor. Okay, we'll have a coup op where he breaks away and we have to eliminate him. Unfortunate, I know, but we need to spread freedom and democracy to this planet to get the unobtainium. We're going to get so much unobtainium that it's going to be called obtainium, okay? We're going to remove the un from it, and we're going to gain $1 billion quadrillion when we do it, all right? We're not going to be on the gold standard. We're going to be on the obtainium standard. You'll betray me? Okay, we're going to get Mom Rad Baggedy will betray, so we shall execute after mission 2. Cool. Op 4 has not gotten an objective. They are bypassing the first AO to completely attack the other two AOs. We already have some of the STV groups getting into the final AO, so literally whoever controls the helicopter is going to win this game. SEAF versus Clankers. You mean from Helldivers, right? I know we have Helldiver mods. I've played a few Helldiver ops in Arma. Do we have SEAF, though? I'd have to ask Devour King, because he's the expert on that. Anyway, this stream's been about mimics killing players in a PvP op, and then we went on a side rant about Avatar. And now it looks like the mission's actually about to start kicking off. Isn't that great? There's a mod for it? Alright, I'll consider it. Alright, hold up. First shot's finally written out. Blue 4 are engaging a scouting group of Op 4. Yeah, right, 46 minutes in, shots are finally fired. Righto, Seeker, I'll let you know, but we do have a queue, as you already said. Blue 4 are getting a team behind the Op 4 battle line here. That could potentially slow them down, but there's a lot of Op 4 here and not a lot of Blue 4 defending. This is a classic 3-to-1 attack ratio, and it looks like Op 4 already know they're coming. You gotta remember, Op 4 does have a drone, so it looks like they are turning around some of the force to hold against Blue 4. They still have 20.5 minutes to destroy that helicopter, so I think they do have the time to turn Op 4 around and start engaging. We already see a pickoff here as Palgrim is knocked out. Marty also knocked out. This could be an early GG, but Op4 needs to continue the assault on this position and then let these guys sweep. Blue 4 is going to potentially trickle these forces in and just get defeated in detail. Teko gets a great knockout on Sam as Sam was trying to outflank. You got to remember, both sides have RCO scopes, so they do have these magnified optics to pick off each other at longer distances. I almost said languages.
They've been here before. They're moving east. Ab, are you up?
Op4's pushing them. Haven't seen a lot of movement from this force, though. If Blue 4 successfully creates a battle line down here and pulls Op4 away, I hate the clicking from that machine gun audio. That's, ugh. But if Op4 doesn't maneuver down and gets stalled out here for the next, like, 10 to 15 minutes, then it's a Blue 4 GG. And we see Blue 4's rushing more forces up here. They could pull Op4 all from the objective and win it. So it's really just up to Op4 to follow through with their plan, and if they get kill hungry instead, then they've lost.
Fall back. Is joining WT in the fight. Okay, right. In the fight, push northwest.
Mamy wsparcie od Kuba i Ćwieja i tak dalej.
I almost ran over.
So we see maneuvering of this Op4 element. They're going to probably try to come in from down here, but time is ticking. We are now 19 minutes away. Op4 have control of the final zone. They're putting pressure right here. Blue 4 have made a really nice battle line counterattack. Seismo in a bad position, but he's trying to pull away. Could get shot from the flank right here. NASA notices. He's going to notice that smoke. Then maybe get a glimpse of Seismo. Yep, he's calling him out. Now we have a direct engagement. Zixmi's trying to throw 9-baners. It's making these guys run. Grenades are also going out. That has to suck getting 9-baned in PvP. Because your headset's going out and you're getting treated to 9 white flashes. I don't think that 3-man team took any KIA. In fact, we've only seen Birdo and Henry get taken out from the observer for, the outer force over here. Op4 still continuing this flanking action. They're now on the hilltop. Blue 4 in various buildings, but this could allow Op4 to literally just get right here, pop smoke, run a guy up, put a satchel on it. And the only one in the way is Barros. And this building, they have a little bit of overwatch capability on the hills coming down, but with some well-placed smokes, Op4 could just surge that position. Blue 4 now taking the hill, adjacent to the one Op4's assaulting from. And some double taps on some of the survivors. A few more Op4 getting picked off. I think these guys are going to try to get in the low ground. There's one Blue 4 defender over here, though. What scares me is the wide angle these guys are doing instead of getting down in the AO. This is a massive gamble, and it's also further dividing their forces out. You could see Blue 4 just also steamroll this, lose this objective, but then go over and then steamroll that final one if Op4 stretches themselves out too thin. Emil takes a 9-bane. NASA and Demovar trying to work on him. And they get the headshot as his head was poking out on the western side. Zixmi also gets a few shots in. Got a few guys hugging the wall right here, but they're slow to advance. There's the 45-minute objective completed. Blue 4 have a point on the board. 1 out of the 3 points. And Op 4 still flanking around. 15 minutes before that final objective is called. I think they have enough time, but they need to start moving in soon because they're running out. Because after the objective here, it becomes a 30-minute to hold that. But now you see these guys running through the open, and they've been spotted. Now Blue 4 might start turning forces around. Now, with sightings of forces over here, I wonder if this group's going to now come down and play defense. Because based off of, I think these guys are looping all the way around to attack from the north, but regardless of where they assault from, they're going to be on a ridge. I really don't understand where these guys are going. It's almost like they're completely overshooting the objective. Like, logically, it could be to get in this line of trees, then smoke here, and then advance, but they're also bypassing that. They'd be going down like this, but instead they're going to this hill. I think there's a massive miscommunication on Op 4's lines at the moment. It's either that or they're relying on this team to breach. But then we just fall into the Overwatch fallacy of way too many people on Overwatch positions instead of actually doing the objective. Op 4 had a direct line to get in here with minimal defenders, and they didn't take it. Oh, these guys hear them under. They're going to turn around, potentially be able to pick off anyone that runs off. Op 4 have... You know, sometimes the jokes write themselves. Yeah, so they're moving to take this hill instead of actually go and take the objective. That might just be GG. That, unironically, might be GG, because Op 4 just somehow completely misplayed. Now, the force on the ridge is getting met with some heavy resistance. These are the stealth guys. And here's the thing. These guys had to be working to this objective, otherwise they would have just gone north and engaged this AO here. So, why are they all up here? Like, it makes no sense. Like, who's gonna move into the objective then? What, were they expecting it to be empty and then the guys that were aside the runway would be able to cross it? What on earth? Now, this is giving Blue 4 time, ample time to bring all their forces down. Now you got guys all the way over here shooting at these guys instead of playing the objective. Yeah, call the SCP at this point. We're the mimics. Like, literally, if they just smoked right here, went up to this wall, went under it, put a guy with a satchel in here, they would have only had Pogo to fight. 3 people could have beat him because he's focusing on the other way, and then you just put a satchel on this and then leave. This building doesn't explode, you can just get right back in the hallway, you could literally throw it, blow up the vehicle, and then go. Seismo's surrounded, but he's fighting for his life. I agree. I think Commander's intent was completely ignored because now what are they? Yeah, a few people are trying to scramble down here, but it's too late. Blue 4 knows they're up there, so they're going to be watching these angles. They've moved a few guys over to these buildings now. They're not making it in literally 10.5 minutes. And now Blue 4's reinforcements from the other AO are coming in after they swept the southern side. Why do we still have dudes over here? What? What happened? Another mimic strike. No, these are smokes. They got shot. That wasn't a mimic. These are all players. There is no AI. Except for the mimics. So yeah, this group's getting counterattacked by the Blue 4 coming in. You got Op 4 now coming in on the edge, but now Blue 4 is moving in the route that Op 4 should have taken in the first place. Like... Bruh. Op 4 somehow snatched defeat from the Jazza victory. Now, don't get me wrong, Op 4 still would have had to defend this final position. That one would have been tough. I think they would have had a slight advantage at that point. But it still would have been doable. So you got Lolo now trying to breach the position. VOD is staying up here, holding the building. Op 4 trying to get more forces in here as some Overwatch is trying to pick people off. We have 9 minutes, and it's a very difficult fight for Op 4 at this point. Op 4, even if they get the objective, they're not going to have the numbers then to hold the final objective because they're going to lose so much to defensive attrition because they let Blue 4 redevelop in the zone, and while this attack is going on, Blue 4 is going to be sending flanking forces. They're going to wipe most of that group. And then we still have a big chunk of Blue 4 here, and the remaining Blue 4 are double Op 4. So I'm pretty sure this is GG on 2 ways. The only way this couldn't be GG is if all of a sudden someone decides to be Adriado and kill multiple Blue 4. What a misplay. I guess the mimics weren't enough. That would be funny if Op 4 just threw a bunch of smoke and then took one of the satchel guys and they just chucked the satchel at the helicopter. The funny thing is, that could still work if they get enough Op 4 right here and they throw a lot of smoke grenades everywhere. But there are still Blue 4 holding 2-story areas, though it looks like they're getting pinned by other players. They got the knockout on Pogo underscore. Oh, Sam gets blown up by the grenade, but the bullets get him first. Grenade double taps. Because that force is coming around to flank him, essentially. Rigel gets immediately knocked, though, but this is going to slow this force down because now they're going to deal with their flank instead of pushing to the objective. It's GG. GG. Look at the sheer amount of knockouts here, though. Op 4 could have potentially held this. And this is happening... We have another Op 4 team that's now completely circumvented. Like, why are they up here? If they're doing this circle, they should have just gone to the right and held that objective instead and just stayed in the, like... Objective, guys. I don't know what miscommunication happened, but... I know, Galski is gonna be yelling at people later. That's for damn sure. So just as a reminder for everyone coming in, all 3 of these objectives are worth 1 point only. So if Blue 4 are able to hold that for another 6 minutes, they've already won because this one was held for the 45-minute mark. And as I said, if there's a GG early, I'm going to go because there's some other stuff I can go and do. Yeah, more Blue 4 reinforcements entering the compound. It's over. Unless we somehow see Op 4 throw a bunch of smoke and push in. No, there was definitely communication because they were coordinating their push in. I think I just heard someone try to open up with the Mossberg, yeah. He actually gets a knockout. And he pays for it, but he blew a dude away with it, which was pretty funny. But yeah, Op 4, like, these guys are rallying to be over here. That's what they all did. Oh my god. They all rallied around to go here thinking the other squad would be the one to go down here. And then none of them went down there and did the objective. That's the miscommunication. Because while the rest were going on Overwatch positions to cover a force coming down here, none of them actually broke off and did the objective. That's what they did. No one went in and actually did the damn thing, and by the time they were around, they realized, oh wait, no one actually went in and did it. So then they tried to fix it, and now look, they're almost all dead. There is a 3-man team back here, and they would have 4 minutes to do it. So they played themselves. They essentially played themselves. Now they're being defeated in detail. If you scroll out, look at the amount of Blue 4 still alive compared to Op 4. This is Zixme's group versus Twig King's group. These are both heavy hitters. Destroyer gets destroyed by Zixme suppressing. The Mimic's after somebody. Throwing his body around. They're still in the game. Where will you be when the Mimic strike? Is that going to be kill number 5 to Mimic? Yeah, they're running. One Op 4 guy's woken back up. He's about to be pushed. I think it's GG. Oh my god. No, the Mimic would be MVP. Oh, there goes Dimovar. He gets Long Live the King right there. I think the Mimic just pushed his body off. So that's kill number 5 for the Mimic. The Mimic's putting more work in than Op 4. The Op 4 Mimics, they're the Op 4 MVP, definitely. The Blue 4 MVP is the miscommunication that Op 4 had. And we're at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Oh my god. Last guy just got knocked out. Another guy was shot over there, but he might have been Blue 4. Grenades going back and forth with some 9 Banes. That is an explosive charge, and they don't realize it. They're dead. One of them ducks away in time. Oh, man. Hold up, 60 seconds. Calm Pilot could clutch this. Literally just has to throw the charges from behind. They're not looking. 45 seconds. Wait a minute. "30 seconds. "20 seconds. Beep, beep. What a clutch. Settler ran up and did it. What a clutch. What a clutch. Hi, Pogo. Bye, Pogo. Damn, Settlers got them explosive bullets. But Blue 4 are counterattacking the final zone. And look at that, completed by the East within the last 20 seconds. That is all they needed to do. And they lost so much manpower fumbling that. It's almost unbelievable. Here's the thing, though. Like as I was saying earlier, look at the amount of infantry Op 4 has compared to Blue 4. It's over. Op 4 have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Blue 4 have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 20, 28, not including the wounded. They would have 30 with the wounded. So, 28 to 12. What do you think is going to hit? What do you think is going to get it? But damn, are they going to fight tooth and nail for this one. Depso's going to loot a suppressed gun. Not a bad call. Oh, they also had some ASPs. Bigger caliber suppressed weapons. Depso running up. Banks was double tapping. Ruku gets knocked out, but Gregory finishes Depso off. "28 minutes. Blue 4 just have to rally, but there's a lot of forces everywhere. If Op 4 can somehow keep all of Blue 4 pinned down for 28 minutes, so Blue 4 can't mount a force to come down, that could actually win this for Op 4. That's Op 4's only chance here. Otherwise, they're just going to get overwhelmed. We got Jasper still fighting. Damn, Zixme on 5. He's taking a GPMG. I was about to say, I hope that's smoke. Score is tied. Final point's going to win it. Jasper running off the rocks, gets in the super low spot. Zixme's looking. Finds him, but he can't line up the headshot. Zixme's prone, but he gets it. 6 kills. Op 4 still have two-man teams on the north and south to interdict any Blue 4 groups coming, but Blue 4 sending a 5-man team down to the final objective that only has 3 people with a 4th wounded. Bark is a medic, but he is not near Ruku. How long left? 26 minutes. No stream delay. All right, we could see this 2-man team interdict that Blue 4 group there. Again, the only way Op 4 can win this is if they somehow interdict all remaining Blue 4. See them opening up. They're trying to get Fetty, but he gets down. Elf gets knocked out. Under the wall. You have Colm up here. He could try to pick people off. But Blue 4 is going to be sending their forces down. Got some long range fighting from the ridge. The Mossberg shooting again. I have no idea what he's shooting at, but that means they're pinned if they don't know the direction they're being engaged from. Other group coming in from the south, but it's up to the Op4 command team to interdict. Looks like they're lining up shots.
J'en ai vu qu'un.
And you still have Zixmi's group up here. 23.5 minutes remaining. I gotta give it to Op4. They're doing some pretty good interdiction here. They've got Blue 4 separated in 3 different groups, give or take. A team that's still stuck up here, and then 2 smaller teams trying to move in. Even have Audrey said doing some long-range suppression. Well, his zeroing on his gun's completely off for my little camera sight there. You can see he's actually getting hits on Rigel here. So these guys are properly pinned. It's this group that is worrisome here for Op4's victory.
Dobra. Powiedz na radę, co to... Nasi są na...
Blue 4 taking a few buildings across the way here. I'm just trying to see if there's any follow-on action. There's a bit more Blue 4 coming in as well. It's Zixmi's team.
Guys, it's time to push over this mission.
Holy shit. This is one of the guys that died to a Mimic earlier. These two should have pushed in to keep these guys pinned. Then it would have been a 3-man fight here. You got the northern group also bringing people down. That's that 2-man team going, but now they're being engaged, but they're just trying to reinforce the final objective. 21 minutes. Hopefully they don't get red on Reddit, otherwise it's going to make this from bad to worse. Good driving on the downward slope, though, to minimize where you're being engaged from. I think Gregory just sniped Zixmi there. Because I think Zixmi was up here at the GPMG. I'm trying to find the body, but I don't see his marker. Nope, yeah, he got taken out. Op4 could hold this. We just need to see these two come in. And then I have no idea what Colm's doing, but he's on 2 kills, so he's doing something.
We managed to capture this objective. It's going to be our idea.
I'd say Delano is traumatized after that, because he just watched Sonic get absolutely blown away. Op4 can still do this. Because they haven't rallied. 20-minute call remaining. They're still in multiple different smaller groups. Op4 could very well defeat Blue 4 in detail. But damn, was that traumatizing. Frag out. So one Op4 guy is keeping half of Blue Force player base pinned around here. And that's preventing them from loading up in the vehicles and coming in. So Cullen's actually doing a really important job right now. We got Ash knocked out. The question is, was he shot or was this building a mimic? These guys are unsuppressed. And Tackle's running around back here as if they weren't just under contact. So I think the mimic got him. Another mimic accident. Helps Op4 where they need it the most. Because Tackleberry wouldn't blindly run into this building without, you know, something returning fire in that direction. Audrey Sip just got sniped. Delano comes up, gets the kill there. He's the hero Blue 4 needs right now. Gregory tries to pop a smoke. Good question. I don't know how he didn't hear that. Op4 coming closer on the Blue 4 elements here. It's going to literally be up to Delano. 18 minutes left. Com finally gets knocked out. And we have another 4-man team coming in. Blue 4, I mean, they're as broken apart as they can be. We also have 2-man team coming in on a vehicle. Yep, no, so we are going to potentially start seeing some Blue 4 vehicles try to rush in here. Ash, I guess, only had 1 bullet in his magazine, and he pays for it. Knocked out with Tackle. So I think Ash got woken back up by Tackle. Banks is still up, but he's not looking in this direction. 2 dismounts. Gerald immediately blows one of them away and gets Barros as well. Holy shit, are we going to see an Op4 hold? The rest of Blue 4 trying to mount up a vehicle. But Delano got the other guy. So it's only 3 defenders here and 2 additional here. I think Blue 4 is going to out-attrition them. Double taps by Op4. And with 16 minutes remaining, this isn't going to be done to time. This is going to be done to attrition. I didn't cast or curse shit for this one. Delano now coming in. If there's another Blue 4 that comes in, it'll tie because Ruku's there. In the event of a tie, we have to refund. Delano gets taken out by Gregory. This throws me off because it's the Gmod sound for the Desert Eagle firing when he shoots that Mossberg. He just gets slapped. This is the last of Blue 4's element coming in. Banks is still right here. He's not really reacting to the contact there. You might have thought it was friendly this entire time. These guys dismounting right here. Yes, push! And Mao. Amazing. What are the odds you drive right up to where the other vehicle was? You... Banks gets the kill. Did they get out attritioned? Because it's now up to the 2 Op4 out here to make a move. That might have been enough. Gregory's got to get Coda, but he's getting shot. Ducks a headshot by Banks. He's dead. Ruku's the only one in the AO, but he's uncon. So if Marty and Teko just walk in, it's GG, but there's more Blue 4 coming in on the other side. It's over. Because Op4 aren't going to be able to move in. Blue 4 have the manpower to hold. Ruku's been unconscious for this entire time. He just got double tapped. GG. Alright guys, that is a Blue 4 victory. I gotta start prepping for something else to do. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes for some Antistasi zombies in a World War II setting. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers, and have a good one.